What's going on, guys? It's Luca together here. I hope you're doing great. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a great day. If you haven't done so, please subscribe to the channel. The support massively helps, and also please like the video. Please push that notification bell so that you can get notified each time I post a new video. I encourage you to comment on the comment section below about the videos that I post, because I would like to have some feedback from you guys. And maybe we can have a bit of a debate about certain football news or football stuff. Anything you'd like to say, you can say it on the comment section below, and I will make it a point that I reply to you as soon as I can. Today I'd like to talk about Eric Ten Hag and Manchester United. So obviously I'm a Manchester City fan, but excuse me for that. I'm obviously a Manchester City fan, but I'm not like obviously we are rivals with Manchester United. There's like a huge rivalry between who's the biggest club in Manchester and all of those kinds of stuff. I'm not interested in those things. Obviously Manchester United is a bigger football club than Manchester City because it has a long history and a long heritage going back to the 1960s, 1970s. In the 80s, they were a little bit poor, but then Sir Alex came in 1986, I think, or 84, and then he kind of revived the club throughout the 1990s and the 2000s. So obviously Manchester United are a bigger football club because they started way before we we've only been having success for like 10 years. We won our first Premier League title in 2012. Manchester United won their first Premier League in 1990 something or whatever. And they have in total, like if you go to the old First Division title, they have 20 league titles in total, and we only have 9. So no, I think we have 8. Yes, we have 8. We won two First Division titles, I think in the 1960s. Because remember, some guys who played for Manchester City, some guys with history. I think there's one whose statue is being built outside our stadium called Colin Bell. He died, I think, in 2020, if not last year. I think it was last year though. Yeah, I think he died last year. And then there's some guys. There's another one called Francis Lee and Mike Summerby. So we had like a good crop of players in the 1960s and early 1970s, and we won a few trophies, and we won 2 league titles. I think we won 1 league title in the 60s, and I think another one we won was in like 1930 something or something like that. And then we've won 6 league titles since obviously the new ownership took over. So we have 8 league titles in total, while Manchester United have 20 league titles. So I'm not going to kind of be debating whether Manchester City is the biggest club in Manchester or Manchester is blue, whatever. If you want to talk about whether Manchester is blue or Manchester is red, obviously right now Manchester City are winning the trophies. Manchester United have not won a league title since 2013. That's a fact. I'm not having a dig at Manchester United or whatever, and they haven't won a trophy since 2017. In Mourinho's first season, I think they won the Europa League and the League Cup. So obviously, if you look at it in that way, like Manchester is blue because the club that's dominating and the club that's winning not winning everything because we haven't won the Champions League. I know you're gonna say that, but in terms of the trophies like the Premier League, FA Cup, the League Cup, we're the ones who have recently won those trophies, and Manchester United have kind of been stagnant. But in terms of which club is the biggest in Manchester, it's Manchester United. There's no debate to be had with regards to that argument. But anyways, I'm not talking about like the Manchester derby here or the Manchester rivalry or whatever. I want to talk about Eric Ten Hag and Manchester United for this upcoming season. What's success for Manchester United this upcoming season? What does Eric Ten Hag need to do in order for this season to be regarded as a success? That's what I want to talk about in this video. I'd like to hear what you think. United fans, I'd like you to comment if you like, obviously, like in terms of what you think you need to achieve this season and what you think Eric Ten Hag needs to do in order to be regarded as a success in his first season. Now, obviously Manchester United last season were really poor. They were shocking, to say the least. Because they were losing to clubs like Brighton, I think. I think they got beat 3-1 or 4-0 by Brighton. I'm not sure. Towards the latter stages of last season, Ralf Rangnick was shocking. He was really, like, obviously when he came, it was like this German god of football, whatever, in terms of his pressing and all of that stuff. And he really speaks well. When he's speaking about coaching, he really seems like he knows what he's talking about. But he was just a disaster at Manchester United. I think Oli, obviously last season, got sacked. It was really like it was inevitable, really, because especially after they got beat 4-0 by Watford, who were eventually relegated. That like it was an inevitable reality that he was going to get sacked by Manchester United, which they should have done a long time ago, because like Oli was never good enough as a coach to take Manchester United to greater heights. And when I say greater heights, he was never going to challenge Klopp and Guardiola for the Premier League title, because he ain't good enough as a coach in order to do so. And there's plenty of situations you can go back to whereby he wasn't good enough as a coach. When he got beat by Villarreal and Unai Emery in the Europa League, Manchester United should have never lost that game, because they had the better squad, and because Unai Emery was the better coach and he was way more advanced tactically than Ole, he was able to grind out a result. He was able to grind out a draw against Manchester United, and then it went to penalties, and then Villarreal won. So I think Ole was never good enough to be like kind of a Manchester United coach. He was good when he came to Manchester United in terms of the camaraderie and the kind of like the spirit at the club, because it was really like a toxic environment when Mourinho left Manchester United. But then when Oli came, it kind of improved the thingy, really improved the morale of the team, and so I guess you have to give him credit for that. And he did finish second with Manchester United, even though Liverpool that season had injuries. Therefore, like Liverpool were close to not making top four that season. I think it was 2 seasons ago. Yeah, it was 2 seasons ago. Liverpool were close to not making top four. But let's be honest, Liverpool were decimated with injuries, and Manchester United were not better than Liverpool. It was just the fact that Liverpool lost Van Dijk to injury, and I think they had to play Henderson at centre back. Like, their backline was just flooded with injuries. So it was kind of a false position that Manchester United were in 2 seasons ago, where they finished second, and everyone thought they could challenge for the title. They were never going to challenge for the title. They were never good enough to challenge for the title, because Liverpool, at their peak, when they have everyone fit, and Manchester City are way better than Manchester United, and there's no ways that Manchester United would have been able to compete with those two teams for the league title, because first of all, also they're not consistent enough, because you need to have an incredible level of consistency in order to win the Premier League right now, because it's really like Manchester City and Liverpool have raised the bar with regards to the level of consistency you need in order to win the league title. So I think Oli did a good job, but he stayed for too long. After his first season, Manchester United should have said, "Thank you, Ole. You've improved the spirit of the team. Like, we'll find someone else," if they were serious about challenging for the league title. But obviously they didn't, and therefore it kind of got to that period whereby it was inevitable that Ole was going to get sacked, especially after getting beaten by Watford, who were a really poor team. But they beat Manchester United 4-0, which says a lot, really. And then Ralph Rangnick came. As I've already said, that was a disaster. So like last season, Manchester United were really poor. It looked like at times the players looked disengaged. It looked like they didn't want to be there. It looked like they didn't want to play. It looked like they were not enjoying football. Rashford was a shell of himself. I don't know what was happening with him, whether like he was having off the field issues or something like that, but he seemed like he wasn't interested in playing football anymore. He didn't look like that electric young kid who had a burst of pace, who could score goals and all of that stuff. Because I know some people say maybe Rashford isn't as good as we thought he is, but Rashford is good enough to play in the Premier League, and he can reach an elite level, in my opinion. Because there was a season whereby he had 15 plus Premier League goals, which is nothing to sneeze at. Like, it's really difficult to reach 15 Premier League goals. It's not easy to score 15 Premier League goals 15 goals in the Premier League. And I think it was close to 20 goals that season. But last season, it was just a shell of himself. He really wasn't good enough. But I think Rashford is a good enough Premier League footballer, and he's good enough to play for Manchester United. And I think, in my opinion, he's good enough to play for a title-winning team, because when he's playing at his peak, he is capable of scoring 15 plus Premier League goals in a season, which is very good. And then I think obviously there were other players like Bruno Fernandes kind of fell off last season, When Bruno Fernandes came to Manchester United, it was really good. He was really good in terms of his output, in terms of his goals, in terms of his assists. Yes, his goals were high because he was taking the penalties in Manchester United, but he was also scoring goals outside of penalties. He was also creating goals for the team. He was creating chances. So, like, he was one of the highest players. Like, he was, I think, in top 2 or top 3 in the Premier League with the likes of De Bruyne in terms of chances created, in terms of goals scored, in terms of assists. So Bruno Fernandes is another good Premier League footballer who who has the capability or has the potential to be an elite Premier League footballer. So Man United massively underachieved last season for the players that they have. I think there's the Arsenal are not better than Manchester United. Like the squad that Arsenal have, especially last season, it's not better than Manchester United. Manchester United have better players than Arsenal. But for some reason last year they were just shocking in terms of Manchester United. Harry Maguire was really not good enough last season. I think Harry Maguire is good enough to play for Manchester United. I think he's good enough to play even for Manchester City, for example. But I think, I don't know what was happening with him last year, because every time Harry Maguire plays for England, he looks like a world beater. Like, he really looks like a good centre back, and he makes some great tackles. He talks. He's a leader. But then when he goes to Manchester United, I don't know if the captaincy is weighing on him or whether the shirt is weighing on him, but he's just he looks a shell of himself. He makes errors, especially last season was making mistakes left, right, and center. I think Dan Burn, who ended up playing for Newcastle, I think, he was playing for Brighton, but then he was bought by Newcastle in January. Dan Burn, I think Harry Maguire had more errors leading to goals than Dan Burn, who played for Newcastle. And obviously Newcastle last season, they were way more, in terms of under pressure. The times that they were under pressure at Newcastle was way more than Manchester United. Because Manchester United won some games last season because they have better quality than most teams. It's only the top 6 teams really whereby you can say, okay, well, these teams have better quality than Manchester United. Let me not say top 6 teams, because as I've already said, I don't think Arsenal are better than Manchester United. I think City are better than Manchester United. Liverpool are better. Chelsea were better last year. I don't know now, because Chelsea have lost some players and they need to make some signings. But I think Manchester United as a squad is good enough at least to be better than the other teams, except for Manchester City, Liverpool, and Tottenham. I think Tottenham are really good. But Manchester United have a really good squad. So I think, for me, I would say, obviously, I'm expecting that, because Ten Hag is really, he has a reputation of being a good coach. We saw what he did with Ajax, whereby they went to a Champions League semi-final. It was playing with the likes of De Jong. That's why he was trying to sign De Jong for Manchester United. I don't know what's happening with that, really. And then he was playing with the likes of Donny van de Beek. There were many players in that Ajax team who improved under Erik ten Hag. And Erik ten Hag is a really good coach. Many people give him that credit, that he's a really good coach on the football pitch in terms of being clear with his ideas and what he wants from players. So I think Erik ten Hag has the capabilities of coaching some of the Manchester United players and making them better players. And Manchester United have made some signings. They signed Christian Eriksen, which I think is a really good midfielder. And I think they also signed Lisandro Martinez, who was a defender playing in the Dutch league for Ajax. Now, there's a lot that has been made out of the fact that Lisandro Martinez is short, because I think he's 5'9". But in terms of he, as it stands right now, he's the shortest Premier League centre back. In terms of the other centre backs for the other teams, he's the shortest. But I think, because of how the game is played today, I don't think you necessarily have to be tall in order to be a good Premier League centre back. You can be short, but you need to have a good reading of the game. You need to have a good understanding of the game, because if your understanding of the game is poor and then you're also short, then you will get bullied by the Premier League attackers. But if your reading of the game is really good, then you can put yourself in a position where you will not be bullied by the Premier League attackers because of the level of understanding in your game. So I think, obviously, I haven't watched Lisandro Martinez play, but I think if he has a good level of understanding of the game, then he can be a pretty good Premier League centre-back. And then, obviously, Christian Eriksen has proven himself before in the Premier League. He played for Tottenham. And then last season, at the back end of last season, he played for Brentford, and it was really good for Brentford. Really helped them. I think he was one of the key players that helped them stay up last season. Because before Christian Eriksen came to Brentford, they were really poor, and many people were saying that they will probably get relegated. But Christian Eriksen was a spark. Everything went through him. He was creating chances, and so I think those are two really good signings. I don't know about Lisandro Martinez, but Christian Eriksen is a really good is a really good signing for Manchester United. But I think and then obviously Ronaldo has said he wants to leave Manchester United. Now, in my opinion, I think they should let Ronaldo go if he wants to leave. Erik Ten Hag has said he's not for sale. Manchester United has also said he's not for sale. So I don't know whether they're going to keep him or not, but I think they should let him go if he wants to leave, because you don't want to have a Cristiano Ronaldo in your dressing room who is not happy, because Cristiano Ronaldo is a big ego. You saw last season, there were times whereby he was substituted by the coach and he was really not happy about that. Like he got to the bench and then he threw a bottle of water on the floor or whatever. Like you could tell that he's not happy by being substituted. So I don't think, like, if he wants to leave, I don't think it's a good idea. It's necessarily a good idea to force him to stay there. But obviously, I don't know what's going to happen with that situation. Maybe they're going to keep him. Maybe they're not going to keep him. But I think Erik Ten Hag, there's a couple of players that he can improve for Manchester United. As I've already said, Rashford. I think he can improve Martial. I think he can improve Donny van de Beek. And then I think under him, this guy, Bruno Fernandes, can get back to his best form. And then I don't know about McTominay and Fred. I mean, I don't think McTominay and Fred are good enough to kind of like, you can't have them in a title-winning side. But obviously, we're not talking about a title-winning side when you're talking about Manchester United. They first have to get into the top four before we can talk about them winning the title again. I don't know if Fred and McTominay are good enough to be playing, like whether one of them or both of them are good enough to play together, like as your defensive midfielders, if you want to make top four, if you get what I mean. I'm not sure if they are good enough. I don't know. Maybe Erik Ten Hag can improve them. I don't know. But I think Manchester United can achieve, like, I think success for Manchester United, what Erik Ten Hag should try and do this season, obviously improve Rashford, improve Martial, improve Jadon Sancho, who also had a poor season last year. But I think, I mean, the Premier League is a tough league. Jadon Sancho was playing in the Bundesliga. So you can have that first year whereby you a little bit off it in the Premier League. But I back Jadon Sancho's talent, that he's good enough with his talent and his attitude to be good enough in the Premier League and to really play at a very high level in the Premier League. So I think improve Rashford, Sancho, Martial, and Bruno Fernandes, and that's a good core of an attacking front. However, Erik Ten Hag is going to choose to play them. That's a good core that you can have in terms of your attacking front to make the top four. I think it's good enough to make the top four. And then I think obviously what I'd say is successful for Erik Ten Hag is that I think also, like, Harry Maguire's form needs to be sorted out. I mean, Harry Maguire was really bad last season. So I think another thing that Erik Ten Hag needs to make sure happens is that Harry Maguire must get back to his best form. Harry Maguire needs to play at a higher level than he was playing at last season. And then Varane as well. Varane was not good enough last season for Manchester United. I think he's someone who can also improve. But I think Erik Ten Hag needs to I think in order for him to be successful, obviously top four is going to be really difficult, because like City and Liverpool are going to make top four as the top two in my opinion. And then there's Chelsea, there's Arsenal, there's Tottenham. I think Tottenham are going to make top four above Manchester United. And I think because there's more stability at Arsenal than at Manchester United. Even though I said the Manchester United squad is good enough and it's better than Arsenal's squad, but there's more stability at Arsenal because Arteta has been coaching those guys for quite a while right now. So I think I think it's going to be tricky for Manchester United to get into the top four. But obviously they need to improve in terms of their performances from last year, because even their performances last year were not good enough. So I think if Erik Ten Hag can improve the performances of the Manchester United players, the Manchester United individual players that I've mentioned, if he can improve their performances and he can improve the performance of the team as a whole, and then maybe like finish fifth and then win the Europa League. Because if he wins the Europa League, he can get into the Champions League. So I think that would be successful for Erik Ten Hag. I'll probably say getting fifth and winning the Europa League is success, because I don't think they're good enough to make the top four as of yet. Because Erik ten Hag needs to stamp his authority and he needs to stamp his style of play onto the team, and that might take a while. But I think the level of performances of the Manchester United players need to improve, and then also there needs to be a clear identity in terms of how they play, because a lot of the times in recent seasons there's no clear identity and there's no clear pattern of play with regards to what football Manchester United are playing. And what I mean by that, like when you watch Manchester City play, you know how they're going to play. They're going to keep the ball, they're going to pass the ball, they're going to pass you to death, and they're going to unlock teams by doing that, by keeping hold of the possession. When Liverpool play, you know that they're primarily going to attack with their fullbacks, Trent Alexander-Arnold and Andy Robertson. They will keep the ball to a certain extent, but they play at a very high intensity and they're very direct. They're not going to play like how Manchester City play in terms of passing all the time. It will be 1, 2, 3 passes, and then boom, Salah has the ball, and then Salah is going to score. So I think, or like Mane in recent seasons, obviously Mane is gone right now, but there's a clear identity in terms of how Liverpool play. It's pressing, it's hard pressing, keeping the ball, get the ball to the fullbacks cross the ball into the box, and then the wingers score the goals. So and then when you look at when you look at Tottenham under Antonio Conte last season, they play a back three. You know that they're going to be solid in defense, and then they're going to, whenever they get the ball, they will get the ball to their midfielders. Their midfielders are going to progress the ball to the attackers. Harry Kane is the main source of attack for them, because he's the one who's capable of hitting long passes, short passes, and he scores the goals. So from the midfielders, the ball is going to go to Harry Kane. Harry Kane is going to find Son. Son is going to score. Harry Kane is going to find Son. Son finds Kulusevski, and Kulusevski is going to score. So there's a clear pattern of play there with regards to what Tottenham do. You never know what Manchester United are going to do when they play. You're surprised every game they play in terms of how they play, because they don't have a clear style of play. They don't have a clear pattern of play. So I think that's also something that Erik ten Hag needs to instill into the team. There needs to be a clear pattern of play with regards to how Manchester United play football. I think that would be something that would make their supporters happy, and Erik ten Hag would really, he would be taken, the fans would be happy with it. The Manchester United fans would be happy with Erik ten Hag if there's a clear style of play from their team, because they've watched the team for quite a number of years now, whereby they're playing football, but it's kind of oh, we're going to see what happens today in the game. We don't actually know how we're going to play. We'll just play, and we hope we're going to win. So I think that's for a club the size of Manchester United, that's not good enough. Manchester United is a big football club in the whole world, needs to have a clear style of play with regards to how they attack, how they defend, whether they're a possession-based team, whether they are more like Liverpool, they're a high-pressing team, and they kind of whenever they get the ball, it's it's 1 or 2 or 3 passes, and then they're going to score. There needs to be a clear style of play with regards to how Manchester United play. I think that's something Erik ten Hag needs to improve as well. So I think success for him would be that, improving the style of play of the club, and then also winning the Europa League and and maybe finishing 5th, maybe 4th, but I simply don't think, I think they have a chance, but I can't predict that they're going to finish 5th. I did make my predictions in the other video. I said City are going to win the league, and then I said Liverpool are going to finish 2nd. I said Tottenham are going to finish 3rd, and I said Arsenal are going to finish 4th. I don't know if Manchester United can get into that top 4. And as much as I've said, I don't think Arsenal's squad is better than Manchester United's squad. But I think Arsenal have they've had more time with their coach, and there's more of a stability within their team. So that's why I back them to finish 4th more than Manchester United. Chelsea, if Chelsea make good signings and they sign maybe another centre-back or 2, I think they also have a chance of finishing 4th. But I've gone for Arsenal, obviously. So I think Manchester United are kind of there or thereabouts between Arsenal and Chelsea. So I think that's why I think finishing 5th and winning the Europa League for them, I think that would be good enough, because I think in the Europa League, the team that I would say have the same or just less quality than Manchester United is Arsenal. So I think in a one-off game, let's say they get drawn in the semi-finals of the Europa League, because they're not going to be in the same group. So if they get drawn in the semi-finals, or they're both in the finals of the Europa League, if Erik ten Hag is a really good coach, I think he should beat Mikel Arteta and Arsenal to win the Europa League, because I think their players, like they have the players to do so. So I think Erik ten Hag finishing fifth in the Premier League and winning the Europa League, I think that would be success for Manchester United. And then obviously improving the players that were really shocking and were really poor last season, and improving the style of play of the team, instilling a style of play for Manchester United so that their supporters, when they go to a game, they know what to expect from their team. It mustn't be kind of like that situation whereby, oh well, we're going to Old Trafford today, but we don't know what's going to happen. We'll see in the game. Maybe Ronaldo is going to bail us out. We're going to be poor, and Ronaldo is going to score a hat trick, and we're going to win the game. Like, you can't. A club the size of Manchester United cannot be playing like that. You can't go to a game hoping that Ronaldo is going to save you with a hat trick. Like, you need to have a clear style of play, and you can't be losing to teams like Brighton and stuff like that because the players are not working hard enough, or because Brighton have a clearer way of playing and a clearer style of play than Manchester United. I think that's not good enough. So I think if Erik ten Hag can work on those things, and Erik ten Hag can improve those things, I think it would be a successful first season for him. Because they're not going to challenge for the league title, because they simply don't have the squad to do that. And I think the teams that I predicted that are going to be in the top four have more stability than Manchester United at the moment. I think Tottenham is better than Manchester United because Tottenham have Kane and they have Son, and those guys are two world-class players in their team. So I think Tottenham are better than Manchester United. Arsenal, if they're not slightly better, I think they're like kind of like Manchester United is slightly better than them. But I think because they have more stability, they will be able to have more, like they will be able to have more consistency than Manchester United, because Erik ten Hag still needs to instill his style of play into the team. So I think, so that's what I predict Manchester United are going to do this upcoming season. If you have any thoughts with regards to how they're going to do, or where you feel like they can improve under Erik ten Hag, and what you feel like they can achieve, you can comment in the comment section below. And if you like the video, please push the thumbs up button to like it, and then please push the notification bell so that you can get notified each time I post a new video. And if you haven't done so, please subscribe to the channel. So yeah, that's the video. Thank you for watching the video.